What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today it is part 2 of the Manchester United rebuild, and this is an absolute banger of a video. We really push it to the opposition. If you do enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Whack on the sub bell so you never miss another upload, because also we're going to be streaming next week the second the full game releases, and that's where you can come and ask me questions, see me make tactics, and so much more. Make sure you stop by one of those if you got the time. Let's get in to part 2. So, a little recap for those that missed episode 1. We actually did finish inside of the top 4. It's the only thing we really done in that season, but we do get in the top 4, and that does mean we have got Champions League football. Now, we had quite a fair budget to go and spend, and my head went to DM and wingback, so hopefully we can go and sign a DM and a wingback. That would be ideal. Now, obviously, the aim of today's video is to try and push on from this third place in the Premier League and try and see what we can do in the UCL. Obviously, it's our first time back in the UCL since we've not been in the UCL, so it's not going to be too easy. I'm going to see what we can do, but yeah, let's go and shake things up. So then, this was a decision that was actually taken out of my hands because Tyrell Malacia did not want a new contract, and he actually went on free to, well, he went on free to Milan in the end. So he's a player that, to be honest with you, I personally would have liked to get a little bit of money for. Now, I usually would be very angry because this is such a new game. We're still learning everything. It's a mistake, but I won't let it happen again and letting players go out on the free. The only positive to this is he was going to get moved on. He was going to get moved on. So, I mean, I guess the small positive is at least he has gone. And it does clean up that position for another left back to come in because Shaw's playing left centre back now, so you know we do actually need a left back to go alongside a Dorgu. And from Barcelona, we are going to pick up a very good wing back, and don't worry, we are going to talk transfer fees in a second after we've seen every single player we've brought. Now don't worry, we've not gone crazy. We have brought 2 players. The first one is going to be this guy, Gerard Martin. Now he can play centre back and left back, which is really vital for me because obviously we are playing a 3-back system, and versatility is actually one of the main things I like to sign in players. And at the end of the day, this guy has got great acceleration, good agility, good pace, good stamina, good strength, good fitness, you know, good technique, good tackling, good heading, so he could play centre-back as well. He's got the attributes to play in both areas. Now, for us, he actually did play a lot of time at left-back, which is literally ideal, because at the end of the day, we have got Dorgu there, who is very good. Shaw can play there, but he's playing a lot more at centre-back. So this man actually become a first-team player. He is getting paid close to £170,000 a week, which, you know, is a fair bit of Wonga to pay. But to be honest with you, it's an investment that we definitely needed. And then we go in and we pick up Carlos Baleba, the man that many Manchester United fans want in real life. And we're going to see if he did work. Now, I will go over and say right away, actually, in terms of his overall performance, he was pretty average in his first season. Of course, we're going to learn about this as we go through the video. But he comes in, he's decent, definitely a lot of money for actually, not what you get saying that in a bad way, but it's a lot of money regardless of how good he is, because this man cost me a total of, let's go and have a quick look, he cost me 90 million. Gerard Martin cost me 49, but 90 million pounds for a player who, he done okay, 6.99. I mean, to be fair, 10 goal contributions in 33 games is really good. Martin had a great season as well. 6 and 10's a really good time. However, got 14 yellow cards across all comps, which is quite a fair few amount of bookings. Now, to be honest with you, someone like Baleba is going to be one of our big signings throughout the whole project. So it's not just a signing that's going to be taken part this season or next. If you guys carry on the Patreon, of course, you can go and have some fun as well. So let's go and see what this team looks like with these 2 in. So this is going to be the team. Now, don't worry, we are going to play Baleba a little bit deeper. In fact, we're going to let him fight for his position. But the team on paper now has Martin in there. It also has Martinez, De Ligt, Yoro as the back 3. Lehmann's remains. Casemiro, sadly, is still at the club for now, but this might change as obviously we progress. You've got Mazraoui, you've got Mbuomo, you've got Sesko, you've got Rashford. You've got a really good team in and out of possession. Don't worry, it's not the finalised teams go into the games. Now, what I will say again is people people obviously got it yesterday, but any part of the video, you want to get all of these cool Patreon perks. It does include the Amarim tactic, all of these save files, everything I do. All my tactics, rebuild files, set pieces, training, tactical help, ad-free viewing. This month we've got a £1,500 PayPal giveaway split between 10 winners. So a lot of people get to a little bit of the pie, if you want to word it like that. Be sure to check out the Patreon. The link is going to be in the description. But I think with these next couple of signings coming in, Baleba helps out the midfield a lot. Like, I mean a lot. He really transforms the entire thing. So super excited to use him. And I mean like super excited. Martin, super excited to see what we can get out of him. And the rest of the team I'm going to hold on to. Obviously, we are going to welcome back Rashford into the mix. Barcelona have not got him yet, but things can of course change. So for now, this is roughly what the team's going to be. Let's go over and see how this translates into performance, because I want to see an improvement on what we done last year. Well, digging right into the friendly schedule then, because we did actually have a total of 5 friendly games, and number 1 is going to be against Olympiacos, where we are going to win 3-1 away from home. So we love to see that. We also are going to go over and beat Dundee 4-0, which, to be honest with you, is not obviously the biggest team to play, but neither Olympiacos are a little bit more challenging. But what I'm trying to say is, without any disrespect being thrown, it's good that we've played a couple of games here and we're looking very, very confident. Now, against this side, Osnabrück, I think is how you say that, it wasn't as convincing. I believe these are a Bundesliga 2 team. We actually only win because of a 90th minute goal from Cunha. So, quite close regarding that. Barnsley, regarding this as well, this is going to be a very close game. Daniel Gore gets some game time and we are going to win that. And Slavia Prague, we don't get lucky because we have to hold on because they do find a way back into the game. Now, in between these friendlies, we had a testimonial against Southampton. So we'll go and watch it. We'll see what happens. So then, the testimonial, it's not the biggest game in the world, I know, but it's a different game from a friendly, isn't it? And it's another game where the players can show what they've got in their locker, and apparently we've got a lot, as we are going to play out from the back here, building up. Here comes Lenny Yoro. I mean, you can see the tactic in play here. Maybe you don't want to see the tactic in play. Maybe you do. We're playing a bit of a weaker team. Southampton just playing around with it here, trying to build up from the back. Smallbone running at the back line, taking on his man through midfield. What is going on? It's a ball out wide into Fellows. Plenty of time here, isn't it? It's a good ball in, and it is actually quite a good finish. So we are going to go 1-0 down against Southampton, something that I don't like to see at all. And now it's time to bounce back. So yeah, that's what we do. 82 minutes, Bruno is going to find Ugarte into Ahmad, and that's going to be 1-1. And we go on to actually complete this comeback, and this is what I like to see early on into the game. Ramsdale plays it out from the back, and this is where we sort of apply that press, cause some issues. Now, they do get that pass off, but you see that there? Like a 4-man press to win the ball back. Højlund is going to come back and get some game time. Into Heaven, beautiful to see him get some game time. Plays it into Ahmad, little ball through, into King Kobbie Mainoo, and it is going to be a 2-1 win. So, bad news, we are also out of a competition very, very early on, which I will break down a bit more in depth when we see what competition it actually is. But, yeah, Everton took the game to us, and fair play. I mean, I look at this right now, and obviously Mazraoui had a great time, to be honest. Made it 1-0. Then we're going to see Tyler Dibbling assist Barry to make it 1-1. Fernandez misses. Barry scores. Mainoo misses. They miss. Cunha scores, Lindstrom scores, Højlund scores, Slory scores, Mazraoui scores. But these 2 penalty misses, mainly the Bruno one actually, is the reason we're out. That is, if you couldn't tell, out of the EFL Cup, as Liverpool go on to win that this season. So we go out literally in the first game. So already a bit of a disappointment. As you factor in only getting a point against Liverpool, a point against Bournemouth, and losing 4-0 against Man City. Foden, Savinho and Bernardo Silva absolutely battering us. The only saving grace throughout this whole game, or this whole month should I say, was this. And it wasn't pretty either. Well, that was against Nottingham Forest, and even this wasn't a great performance. And I think it sums up, really, a lot about last season. A few of the same patterns of play are coming in, and that is inconsistency, which obviously is never a nice thing to have, as they are going to go through and make it 1-0. Now, at the moment, as it stands, Onana, Casemiro, Højlund, all the loaned out players have come back, and no clubs want them. So let me know in future videos when the actual main game comes out, if I'm allowed to use the editor to move them on to make it more realistic. I need your permission because I don't want to annoy anyone at the end of the day. But we're building up from the back here with some pretty decent play. I can't lie. I mean, it's one thing this tactic offers is sublime attacking play. Dalot down the right-hand side, just burning past his man here. There you go. Look at that from Dalot. Goes alone. Little cutback as well. Smart play into Baleba. And that is one of the reasons we got him. A great ball through, and Rashford is going to make it 1-1. But this whole game, to be honest with you, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't always nice to look at, and it's a game which we needed to win because obviously we've been so poor in the Premier League. And when I say poor, I don't want to be critical, obviously, of the game against Liverpool, for example, because a point's a point there, but 4-0 against City is not nice. We do take the lead here, obviously making it 2-1. And we do actually, you know, we're quite fortunate. We go and make it 3-1 with a little bit of a scrappy one. As Martin is going to win it back, plays it all the way back into Yoro. Martin's having a great time, by the way. Into Baleba, who was just running that midfield. Into Mbeumo. The tactic doing wonders there with Dalot with that overlap and run. And it's beautiful. The play is absolutely sublime. And a 3-1 would have been lovely. But obviously, the game's not going to end like that because I said it was a close game. And it was a close game. Forest actually go on to score a goal, which you'll see in a second, and it is going to be 3-2. So even in a game which we did win, it's not ideal because it's a 1-goal win, and it's against a team that, after getting a point against Liverpool, getting battered against City 4-0, going out of a cup, you need to really show the fans you're about it. And winning by 1 goal, it's not going to do it. Then this happens. I mean, it's classic us, you know. We have a good performance, then not a good performance. We are going to lose against Ipswich Town, which is, it's absolutely mind-boggling to me. In the Premier League, obviously, as well. None of our players done well at all. It was a game which we just, well, to be honest with you, I'm quite embarrassed. And now we're going to have back-to-back Champions League games against Slavia Prague and FC Bayern. So I imagine Bayern are going to get the business done, aren't they? Well, the Champions League so far is okay. Now, I'm really keeping myself calm because we do lose to Bayern, but I'm factoring in what happened against City here, you know. We lost 4-0, so a 2-0 loss against Bayern for our standard at the moment is actually acceptable. And obviously, this 3-0 win against a team that I know we should be beating, thanks to Sesko and De Ligt, that does obviously become true. But because we won that game, at least like we didn't slip up there and then lose to Bayern. So it's not going awfully. As a really good performance comes in to carry on this Champions League campaign, and it is going to be a 3-0 win away against Atletico with goals from Baleba, Cunha and Ahmad. And it was a game that was very 50-50. So this is actually something that I'm happy with because it's showing that we've got a little bit of grit. In a game where both teams are playing well, we come out on top by 3 goals and kept a clean sheet. That's what I want to see a lot more of. And the rest of the Champions League campaign actually didn't go too bad. So we then play Athletic Club. We beat them 3-0. Stellar performance from Mazraoui, who has been one of our better players this entire video, to be honest. A point against Torino away is not ideal, but it is when Bruno Fernandes gets sent off inside of 36 minutes. So you can slowly start to accept these things when you're a man down. We go on to play Monaco next up in the Champions League. A 2-0 away win, and Sesko gets over 10 goals already in the season. He is absolutely firing as it stands, as we then go on to actually play 2 other teams that I am quite happy with what happened. So the last 2 Champions League games were against PSG and Feyenoord. Now, against PSG, we are only able to get a point, which I will accept. And Feyenoord, well, things got spicy. Well, against Feyenoord, at home, we put on a display for the fans. They're going to go 1-0 up from a great set-piece bit of play there, which will be coming to my main channel when the game actually drops, by the way, as a little heads up. And we carry on that play inside of the second half. Elegant build-up. Mazraoui, who's been probably, I'll say it, our player of the season. He's moving like Lionel Messi. I mean, that is all him. It's a good finish, but all credit goes to Mazraoui. Mazraoui is absolutely stunning to watch. A great bit of play from him, and we keep it going. Martin playing centre-back this game, to clarify, which he can do, hence why we signed him. Into Casemiro, into Bruno, over the top. That passing animation is beautiful. Into Dorgu. What's he going to do? He's going to cut it back into Mbeumo, and that is going to be a finish, I believe, from Baleba in the end to go. Obviously, 3-0. So, a very, very good performance, and believe it or not, we don't stop there. The Champions League is looking very, very promising. A lot more promising than the Premier League, because we're so calm on the ball. Now, Feyenoord are one of the better teams, obviously, over in Holland. They're not an easy team to play, and we're just passing it about like we're playing the under-21s. You know, we are having a great time there as De Ligt does nearly let that run. We recover it. Mazraoui into Baleba, back into Mazraoui, who's got so much confidence, back into De Ligt, back into Mazraoui. I mean, look at it. What a ball through into Mbeumo, driven across, and Cunha is going to go and make it 4. And that was in the 92nd minute. And somehow Feyenoord allowed us to get one last goal. I mean, for their confidence, this couldn't have done any good, because they are going to go on to lose this game 5-0. Great interception, great ball through, 5-0. Yeah, we'll take it. So we are going to finish in 7th place in the league phase, obviously getting through with 5 wins, 2 draws and only 1 loss, and that's a lot better if you compare it to last season, where obviously we had nothing. So yeah, let's be grateful for one thing. We are going through to the latter stages of the UCL comfortably. But sadly, the Premier League has not been going too neatly. A draw against Brighton, a draw against Arsenal, a 2-0 loss against Newcastle, a 2-1 loss against Everton. Now, yeah, so far things are not looking great in the Premier League. To be fair, we do get 1 win in the month of October. That was the same month where we do beat Atletico Madrid, but the only other win we got in that whole month was a 2-0 win away against Crystal Palace. We start off November, obviously, as we saw in the Champions League, incredibly hot against Athletic Club, beating them. We then do go and beat Brentford 2-1, where credit is due. But then we can only manage 2 points over 2 games against Aston Villa and Chelsea. Now, these are not like really, really poor teams, but it's results like this, the Everton one, that make these results feel so much more painful, because it's points you can't afford to give up. Tottenham, we are going to beat. Get ready. Coventry, we lose 3-2. This is the real kick in the teeth. And from this point onwards, I was actually very, very nervous. In fact, it did include me making a tactical change. And yeah, we go in to our next game against West Ham. And at the end of the day, if we don't end up winning it, we are going to look really, really grim. Well, I tell a lie, we played Sunderland before this game and we did beat them 2-0. So coming into this game is all about getting the team being able to win back-to-back games, something that a lot of people take for granted, but I'm not doing this season. And Mbeumo into Dalot, taking on his man through one-on-one, and that is a great start inside of 4 minutes and 30 seconds. A really, really lively start. And it's a game which means a lot to me because we've not been linking up performances. We simply win a game, draw a game, lose a game, lose, draw, win. We can't win multiple games back to back in the Premier League this season. The Champions League we've taken to very, very comfortably, but it's super important in the business end of the season we start to turn up, and little skill moves like that, they're getting me excited, as it is going to be a 2-0 advantage in 23 minutes. It is a really, really positive start. And you know what? There's not much from this performance that I was angry at. We were really good at defending. We were really good at attacking. The passing was on point. The players were up for it. And the tactic looks really, really good. We simply have just gone attacking for a little bit, just to try and really commit more players forward, get rid of these 1-1s and, you know, frustrating 1-goal losses where I'm trying to really try and smoke teams. And we go on to win this game in 4-0 fashion with a little set piece here from Luke Shaw. That corner flag's nearly going in his face. Have a day off with that. And Mbeumo picks it up, and that is a beautiful game. So yeah, you factor in the 2-0 win. Obviously, Sunderland away. It's, I want to say, a hard place to go to, but we are Manchester United. We then beat West Ham. We also beat Burnley. In between that, we get a point against Southampton. So I'm not going to be too critical because we're now not, you know, we've not lost a game. If you include the Monaco game before Sunderland, we have not lost a game in 5 games. In fact, make it 6 games. A good away win here against Forest 5-2. The Premier League, a 2-1 win, which we love to see because we've finally shown a little bit of consistency. We beat Man City 3-1. We get a point against Bournemouth. We beat Liverpool. And then we finally lose a game against Arsenal. But that is over 10 games unbeaten from what was a really, really poor spell. And to put the little cherry on top, obviously, we're doing really well when it comes to the Champions League. And we actually go over and we managed to beat Wolves 1-0 in the FA Cup. Now, it was scrappy, it was not pretty, we were dominant, but we couldn't score. But we're through in the FA Cup, and I swear I'm putting everything into these cups. I want to win them as much as I can, because this club means so much to me. Well, despite the loss in the Premier League, we bounced back right away, beating Chelsea 5-1. So the Premier League, we're not doing great because obviously we had such a bad start to the season, but we currently sit in 5th place, and it is still all to play for. But then this happens in the FA Cup, and I do not want to talk about this ever again. We get absolutely, well, we don't get done. We get done because of our own mishaps. We went 3-0 up against Luton with Højlund, Ahmad, and Ahmad again. We then concede in the 60th minute. Not too worrying. 66th, a little bit worrying. 90th minute, alarm bells. We bottle a 3-0 win, and we actually lose on penalties, which is simply not good enough. It is an absolute embarrassment. Yeah, the FA Cup we are also out of. Despite me saying we're going to win this, I love the club. I do love the club, but clearly I can't change some things. Now, that is going to be the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup we're both out of, and Liverpool win both. That's like my worst nightmare. And yeah, when things are not going your way, they're not going your way. A 3-1 loss away against Villa and only a point against Tottenham means that this Manchester United team aren't even in the top 8 now. That's how close we are. Oh, let's just put that to one side because I'm stressing about the Premier League. I am super stressed. But the Champions League, we are going to progress past the round of 16. We're going to beat Monaco away from home in 2-0 fashion with goals from Mbeumo and also Patrick Dorgu. And then when it comes to actually our home leg, I believe it is the next one here, we do win 4-1. So it's a very, very comfortable time. A 6-1 win over 2 legs. Rashford's firing in the UCL. And we are going to progress. So, yeah. It's a bit bizarre that we're doing so well in the Champions League and now we're struggling in the Premier League, but yeah, I'm not going to complain too much because I know how it feels to start going out of competitions. In between those games, we could only get a point against Burnley. I think this is summing up what's happening right now. The longer we're in the Champions League, the harder it is to deal with the fixtures. I don't want to sound like Jurgen Klopp making excuses, but it is true. The more games, the more issues. We do beat Sunderland though, so maybe that theory's dead. A 4-0 win, we're going to take that anytime, and a 2-0 win over Coventry. But the next games we play are against Real Madrid, Southampton, and then Real Madrid. And I have seen what just happened against Southampton. We have lost 3-1. And they were down to 10 men. So this Madrid game, if it's that embarrassing, it won't even be in the video, because I am petrified. Well, to be honest, the first leg didn't go too bad. We do get a 1-1 draw, which is not bad for the Bernabeu. Now they come to Old Trafford, the theatre of dreams, well, recently the theatre of tears. But we are going to give them a game here. And do you know what? At the minute, they're playing it round for absolute fun, and they're mocking us. But I've got a feeling we can actually take this game to them. Now, they are playing, of course, a full-strength team, and I do believe that was a foul. I'm going to be honest, but it wasn't given. Ahmad playing right back in this game as well, due to injury, and we actually go and score from that very controversial challenge. Now, let me know in the comments, was that a foul or no foul? Do not be biased, because I could be biased, and I'm not. I think that was a foul, to be honest. Now, Dorgu on the ball into Martin, currently leading this really, really tough quarter-final. Martinez out wide into De Ligt. Plenty of space on the ball, out wide, into Amad Diallo, playing right back as said, and Mbeumo just about gets there ahead of Mbappe, back into Carlos Baleba, who is running that midfield, into Sesko, into Mbeumo, and that is going to be 2, and we're leading Real Madrid by a 2-goal cushion, 3 goals to 1, and surely, unless something goes pretty horrifically wrong, we're going to be quite comfortable here. Well, hold your horses. Martin is going to have a set piece right now. It's a ball inside of the box, and they're going to leap. It comes out inevitably to Vinicius, who's going to take on his man, hit it, and they've got a goal. And this game is still very, very, very much alive. 3-2, lots of time on the clock, and now the pressure goes back to us, and we're not dealing with it well. Diaz wins the ball to Shinemi through, and it is going to be Garassi, a new signing for Real Madrid, running out wide. We've got loads of men back here. Surely there's too much space. To Shinemi, back in, and that is going to be the equaliser. And just like that, all the hard work has been unfolded, and the game's level. 2-2, collapse has potentially started, and yeah, this is giving me vibes of the game against Luton. We do so well, then we just completely just let it go. It's simply not good enough. Over the top, Rashford is going to find Højlund, unorthodox player, to potentially help us, but we're going to go through and beat Real Madrid, and we're heading to the semi-final. Or are we? Yeah. That's right, you never know what happens in these videos, because this is something that, you know, I was not really expecting to bottle a 2-0 lead, then get the lead back, and then bottle it again. But Real Madrid have also signed Ez Abdi. Martin is going to find Garassi, great hold-up player, by the way, this year, into Carvajal, back into Garassi. We win it back on that press, into Kobe, into Bruno, into De Ligt, over the top, and that is beautiful play. Amad takes on his man, bags of pace, of course. This is where you want him at right back, because he is so good going forward, and yeah, that is why it works so well, because he can just do that. He can turn up at any moment. He can defend reasonably well, but on the attacking side of the spectrum, he is absolutely sublime. And Madrid, they're not going to stop there. They're fuming. They're losing this game. Of course, basically any Madrid manager that doesn't win the Champions League inevitably gets sacked. So a lot of pressure on Xabi Alonso here, and despite a great bit of play right now, I'm not going to bait you in again. We are going to progress through to the next stage. And despite a very couple of challenging games against Madrid, we do win our next Premier League game. So it's something. But then we get blown away 5-0 against Newcastle. So as it stands, we're outside the top 8 in the Premier League, but we are through to a Champions League semi-final against PSG. Now, after a 5-0 defeat to Newcastle, mentality-wise, we went into this with essentially nothing to lose. I don't think we're going to get the top 4 anymore. The only way we're going to get Champions League is to win it. So I threw everything at it, and at the first leg at our home, it's a 9-goal thriller. We do win it just. Talk about a game, I mean, that is absolutely mental. 2 own goals, by the way, so a little bit of a blessing. We then go on to beat Palace in the league, and now the question is, can we get over the line when we go to Parc de France? That's the question. Well, we can, and it was not done in a nice way. In fact, I feel quite dirty for doing it, but I basically played in a low block, time wasted, played for set pieces, and ran it down. Now, it doesn't mean we didn't, you know, create chances. We still did have chances, but it was a game which was very boring to watch. It was one of them games which, you know, you sort of go and make a cup of coffee if it was on in the background. But we are heading to a Champions League final. Against who? Guess. I'll let you guess. Well, we're playing Barcelona in the Champions League final, and it is an absolute honour to get here, considering how poorly we've been doing in the Premier League. So, a bit unique that we made it to a UCL final, and we start off very good, to be honest with you. Bruno finds Marcus Rashford, who's going to go down the line, back inside, and then Mbeumo is going to make it 1-0 in 25 minutes, and everything was nice and golden. We absolutely love to see it, but it doesn't necessarily last, because we build up again here with Martinez taking his time on the ball, plays it back stick, not really a great ball in. Joan Garcia is going to collect, and by the way, how crazy is it? We're playing a team that I've also done a rebuild series on. It's like they could really make me look stupid here, couldn't they? And well, I'm gonna just drop a little spoiler. They do get a goal here because Balde is gonna play a wonder ball over the top into Rafinha, drive it back, and the game is level. And the game was level for the rest of the game. It was a very, very quiet Champions League final, to the point where we're now into penalties. Bruno Fernandes is going to step up. We're going to see what happens. Where's he going to go? Where's he going to go? Oh, a rocket into the top right-hand corner. Oh, Torres, I know. Well, you can miss a penalty, can't you? You can miss a penalty. He doesn't miss a penalty. I will say the penalty animations this year are absolutely wonderful. Cobby, confidence. I've given you a chance in the biggest game in your entire career. Cobby into the bottom right, lashes it. We love to see that. Dani Olmo. Now, I've got a bit of faith in Dani Olmo. I watched him a lot at Leipzig, and Onana maybe should have saved that. I'm going to be honest. Rasmus Højlund, now, we've seen him score, we've seen him miss. He steps, he scores, and have you noticed we are only going in the right-hand side? Very interesting, that. Koundé is going to step. Onana, little mind games maybe. Koundé steps, he scores as well, and so far, the penalties have been absolutely brilliant. And this is a shock horror, isn't it? Jadon Sancho, we couldn't sell him. He comes on an extra time, and he scores his penalty, so we love to see that. Cabrasi, a young player, and if he does miss, it would not be nice. I never like to see young players miss penalties, and he doesn't. It's a good penalty, to be fair. I believe that is 4-4. Martinez is going to step up against Juan Garcia. Where's he going to put it? Is he going to go right? He is going to go right, and it keeps happening. He keeps going there, and we are going to win, finally, 5-4. That is a really massive achievement. And as we look down this schedule of red and orange and red and green and orange and all the colours, this is the big one, isn't it? A big green against Barcelona. We draw against Brighton and Everton in between, and we have definitely sacrificed Premier League glory for Champions League fame. Now, obviously, we are doing another season, and I want to win the Premier League that season, because this year we finish in, I'm going to go 7th. We finish in 9th. Now, if we didn't win the Champions League, I would feel this big. But we have won the Champions League in our first time of asking, which is really, really good. Now, when we look at the league table, I just want to make something quite clear here, okay? One, I understand we are nowhere near the top 4, you know. We're, what, 10 points from the top 4. But it was very close from 5th to 9th. So I am going to take that into consideration. Also that we have won the Champions League. But next year, with this budget of 57 million, that might actually end up being a little bit more, and a team that quite clearly can win big competitions, I want to see a little bit more out of these players in the Premier League. Now, I might go and focus on the Premier League a lot more, sacrifice the UCL, for example. Marcus Rashford is a unit in this game. 20 and 9. Sesko 17 and 7. And Buomo 13 and 12. I'll make it very clear again. Do you want me, when the game's out, to use the editor to offload players that should be gone that I can't make go? You have the say in that. You're the viewer. You get the decision. 10 and 5 for Ahmad. Højlund 10 and 5. Martin 6 and 10. 5 and 2 for Cunha, Baleba 4 and 6. You know, assist-wise, we had a lot of people contributing, and this tactic has won me a UCL. So, very happy with what I see, and I do honestly, hand on heart, believe next season, when I'm not going to worry about anything but the Premier League, I think we're going to win it, because realistically, we've got money to spend. We can go and strengthen the team a little bit. We know this team can win a Champions League. I mean, we're able to beat teams, obviously, all throughout the league phase, but even in, like, the latter stage, Real Madrid, PSG, Barcelona, 3 of the hardest teams in the game to actually overcome, we did it. So, this team is good. This tactic's fantastic, but we just need to find a way to win the Prem, and that's what I'm going to go and scratch my head about right now. But yeah, that's going to be episode 2 wrapped up. If you have enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Make sure you go and check out the Patreon, because there is tons of cool perks this year. And yeah, join me on the 4th when the game comes out at 7 PM, as we're going to be managing, most likely, Dortmund live for you boys and girls. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. Hope you have a great one.